I'm Corbett Wall with DV Auction, here with your feeder flash for Thursday, March the 24th, brought to you in part by the new Nasalgen. Bovalis Nasalgen 3 PMH is the first and only intranasal vaccine with both viral and bacterial pneumonia protection to effectively protect your cattle against IBR, BRSV, PI3, Pasteurella, and Mannheimia. Visit Unmatched Protection for more information. Eyes on Cattle on Feed report coming up this week here on Friday. The Cattle on Feed estimates leave a little bit of room for bullishness, because the Cattle on Feed report, it doesn't really matter what it is, it's what it is compared to what your average of analyst guests think it is. And they've left some room here for some bullishness. They've got the placements cranked up there, and you look at the placements against last year, and yes, last year in February we had that severe cold snap, which your southern plains was just almost locked down, which was the entire central Texas. All those sale barns were shut down at least 1 week, and some of them for 2, so there weren't cattle moving there. But as you moved up into the plains, up about midway part and then up into the northern plains, cattle were still moving, and that's where your biggest part of your cattle are at. So, you know, there's opportunity here for your placements to come in way under what your average analyst guests have guessed that they're going to be, but still you got to remember that that severe cold snap that come through and did limit your receipts during February of last year. So it's just, we're just going to have to see what it comes out to be. But it's quite a bit of an opportunity here. Sometimes they crank it up so much towards the bullish side that you don't have any room for bullishness, but we do have room this time, and all eyes will be on that at 2 o'clock Central on Friday. But the average of the analyst guess for on-feed numbers for March the 1st are at 101.1% of a year ago. Placements for February, they got them cranked up to 106.3, and that's where I think the opportunity is. But there again, I say, you know, it may have caused such a limit of receipts a year ago in February that it could be that higher, maybe even higher, who knows. But marketing's in February at 104.3. So that's cranked up there pretty high, so we may not meet that. But still, I think there's an opportunity, and it's really going to cringe on what comes out on Friday to see what's going on, because we're really searching for a direction on our feeder cattle market right now, and that'll play a big part in seeing what it is, even though we've got all this unrest going on across the world. I got to give a shout out to the Santa Masos marketing men in northeast Colorado there. They had a successful second annual meet-in event there, and if you remember a year ago, it was kind of coming off of the worst of the COVID there. Their governor in Colorado was having a meet-out day, and so the Santa Masos decided to have a meet-in. Well, they went ahead and had a second annual meet-in for people that like to eat beef. And, you know, they were resisting, the politicians in that liberal state of Colorado there that were against meat, or were at that time. I think they've got enough pushback now that they've kind of eased off that a little bit. But they had a meet-in event in Sterling, Colorado. They had 1,400 or more people at the event, and it was fantastic. They had a silent auction, they had a live auction, $155,000 raised during this event, where people were eating brisket and hamburgers and all beef hot dogs and things, and come in there for that event. They raised all that money there, and that money was to be split between Angels of America's Fallen, which is a really good program there, and also the other half of it went to a local restaurateur family there that were having tough times in that area. But Jason Santamasso, he put that all together, and he wants to draw urbanites, which are pretty close to the Denver area there, Colorado Springs area, and heavy population area, and wants to draw urbanites into the rural area to educate them about agriculture and about beef production. Because I tell you what, that state of Colorado, they've kind of gone off the rails there with this woke thing that's going on, and I tell you what, it was a really good event there, and you got to give them credit for that. And I don't think it got a whole lot of acknowledgement, but we're going to give them a little bit of it here. Let's talk about your board. On Wednesday, April live cattle futures were unchanged, which doesn't happen a lot of times, but at 139.42. June live cattle up 27 cents at 135.97. Go on your back months, and they were kind of mixed on your live cattle contracts, from down just 7 cents to up 32, so not a big movement there. Feeder cattle for March down 22 cents, and there hasn't been much support there at all this week at 156.10. But April, as you're going out further, was up $1.20 at 161.77. You go on your back months feeder cattle, they were also mixed, kind of like your live cattle pits were, but down 17 cents to up 37. Look at your grains, which, I haven't always talked about grains, but they're so volatile right now, and they make so much difference in what's going on with our cattle markets. But corn was up 4 3/4 cents for normal trading on Wednesday at 7.57 3/4. Beans up 22 1/4 at 17.18 3/4 cents. Kansas City hard red winter wheat down 5 cents at 11 1/2 cents a bushel. Talk about your fat cattle trade, and we saw the bulk of the fat cattle trade negotiated on Wednesday. It was fairly disappointing, as we feared that it would be after we saw your biggest auction at Yankton be a little bit lower on Tuesday. But your Packers are just playing really hardball. But at Iowa, they had 5,100 head of negotiated sales on Wednesday, from 138 to largely 139, which doesn't sound horrible, but if you remember last Friday late, they had a lot of sales from 140 to 142, so that's down. But dress sales in Iowa on Wednesday from 220 to 225, and your Northern Plains market was pretty much $1 to $2 lower. Southern Plains steady. Nebraska 22,500 head, so our market is set. And in Nebraska, your market was 138 mostly, few up to 139. That's steady to weak in Nebraska. Nebraska never got those higher prices last week on a live basis there, but your market's 138, guys, and that's disappointing. Dress sales from 220 to 223.5 in Nebraska. Kansas 7,300 head in negotiated sales on Wednesday, all at 138, and a few dress sales at 221. Texas sold only 2,900 head, and that's pretty much all we've seen because we haven't seen any trade really until on Wednesday. But live sales in Texas at 138, and that was basically steady there. Box beef cutout values continue to recover here seasonally, like we've been talking about them, and they are coming up. Choice cuts on Wednesday afternoon, $261.60. That was up $1.63. Selects up $1.35 at $253.24. Your slaughter is being a little bit disappointing, and we'll have to see how it ends the week, because the previous 2 weeks we've had a big fall off, a lot due to weather, but other reasons too, cooler cleaning and the things like that. But I hear that we're going to have more cooler cleaning late this week, so it could be disappointing again. But up through Wednesday, 366,000 harvested. That was 9,000 less than last week, 10,000 more than the same week a year ago. Let's talk about what else is going on. Livestock Risk Services are professionals in the LRPs, your livestock risk protection insurance policies that you guys definitely need to look into if you haven't already. It's better than taking a full hedge, and the government will come in and step in and help you with part of that premium. But you can lock in prices, and as you look out on your futures, we're still trading at a premium, especially for you guys that are turning cattle out. If you've already missed the boat on the highest prices there's no need to give up on what's already there. But get a hold of Livestock Risk Services if you're looking for an LRP. How about your feeder cattle market? Your real-time index from DV auction late on Wednesday, sitting at 155.03. That was down 25 cents a hundred. That's brought to you by Margin Tracks by Midcon. Markets really weren't that much lower, but you know, when we're looking at a 7-day moving average on your RTI, you know, you might look at what happened 7 days ago that are falling off. But some of your big sales on Wednesday: OKC West, El Reno, Oklahoma, 5,500 head for the 2-day sale. That's light receipts, and our receipts are slowly getting lighter in your feeder cattle auctions because there's just not that many cattle out there left to sell. But also at El Reno, they had some good moisture fall there earlier in the week, and that limited receipts like it always does. So, but just 5,500 for the 2-day sale. Feeder steers steady to $1 higher. Feeder heifers steady to $2 lower. Calves were steady to firm, but a stick-out deal at El Reno was 180 head of 833-pound steers, bring $156, and that's nothing to sneeze at. But it was also wet when you went north of there. How about Dodge City, Kansas? Winter livestock there, only 1,300 head there. And again, it's due to there's not that many cattle left to sell, but also due to wet conditions there. But steady to $2 higher in a light test at Winter Livestock in Dodge City. Got some individual quotes from around the circuit to give you. How about Bloomfield, Iowa? Bloomfield Livestock Market, the Schooley family there had a good sale on Wednesday. 67 head of 804-pound steers, bring 161, so we can still get 160 or better on some 8-weight steers. How about a market we never talk about? Veneta, Oklahoma stockyards. And they had a really good sale there and sold some mostly black steers from the Rick Pepper family there. They were home-raised steers, 56 head, weighed 925 pounds at $144.85, which is a really good market there. How about Stockman's Livestock in Yankton, South Dakota? Sells 173 head of 688-pound steers at $187.50. But the top quote that I saw, and it was actually Tuesday evening, but I'm going to give it to you here for the Thursday market report. It's your Row Grow top quote for the day. Come out of Abington Feeder Cattle Association's Virginia Quality Assured Tele-Auction that's on DV auction every time they have it. But, you know, those cattle are put together, and I keep telling you guys about how good the quality is out there in Virginia, especially for your Eastern Corn Belt guys. They had 77 head, mostly black and black baldy, but a few Charolais on there. Butch Foster was the auctioneer, which he doesn't always do that, but he can do whatever there is. But a load of them, 77 head for Monday delivery, current delivery, weighed 635 pounds in Virginia at $199. And that's your feeder flash for Thursday.